Hey, what up, people? How y'all doing today? Just chilling out here. Um, and due to popular demand, I'm having to do a part two to my technology today video. I sent out a video, and I had some friends kind of hit me up and asked for a little bit more details about some of the things I was talking about. And I decided in this second part, first of all, let me stop and say Happy New Year. This is the new year, right? 2020. Happy New Year to everybody, and also thank you for all those guys who sent shout outs for my anniversary. I appreciate you all. Hope you guys have a great year, 2020. And I guess I'll say one or two things about 2020 also. But to kind of answer the question of my friends who hit me up about some of what, to explain a little bit better what I was saying about the problems with the new technologies that we're in this new decade kind of beginning to use. I'll start by saying this. I'm not going to mention the name of a company, but there's a company right now that has a quantum computer that in no more than 2 hours will decode encryptions for stuff like with military information. This is top-notch intelligence stuff I'm talking about. Not only that, like encryptions with our banking, they have a technology right now that in less than 2 hours, they're going to be able to, just break that code. Now, I heard they're even working on a more powerful quantum computer that will be able to do it even in seconds. Now, the issue is when we have this kind of technology at our fingertips to use, imagine the power that gives people who have access to it. That's what I was talking about when I started talking about things to do with the moral fiber of the society, and that we need some people to step up and there will be integrity issues. That was what I was talking about. Let me give you another one quickly. The 5G networks right now, this year, are, like I said, they have rolled out, but I heard by the end of 2020, we should have sold about 300 to 400 million phones on the 5G network here in the United States. Now, all those phones are going to come with a Google Assistant, an assistant. Basically, they're going to have AI. Not a Google Assistant, but they're going to have AI. Now, if you don't know what AI is, I think it's about time you begin to educate yourself about that. But these phones on this 5G network, they're building those networks all around the country right now. They're going to have AI. Now, if you know what AI is all about, or part of what it is, that begins to bring up an integrity issue. It begins to bring up with such technology, so much can happen. I'll give you a third one. There's a technology called CRISPR. And with this technology, you can edit genes. Now, I just recently heard of a story of a guy, I think about a week ago, or a few days ago, who I think maybe is facing a lawsuit right now because he, through this technology with CRISPR, was able to produce an artificial twins because of this genetic composition by CRISPR. He's able to edit genes, and what are we talking about here? When people now have access to be able to edit genes, now basically this technology is being tested because the idea is that with this technology they can heal kids or children with different kind of diseases and catch it early. But with that kind of technology being available where people can edit people's genes, are y'all feeling me? Where can this go? So these are the concerns, and these are the issues, and these are the reasons why I was talking about the moral fiber of society being challenged. Even the whole thing with the 5G network. By the time we have self-driving cars, if you don't jump on board with that, how would you get around? Because we're going to have super highways, and in the next 10 years, like I said, everything's going to be different. So to kind of cut it there in terms of the technology aspect of this video, these are some of the reasons why I was talking about integrity issues. Because these technologies are going to launch us into a period of life that a lot of us are not expecting or we are not ready for. And manipulation is very easy with these technologies by those who have them. There's so much more I would like to say, but I'm not even going to say right now. But the other thing is, this year 2020, if you really want to set up a goal for yourself, which I know a lot of us, we work towards trying to hit some certain goals this year. One of the goals I say will really, really be helpful for you to hit will be really building a relationship with God. That's a healthy, everyday, necessary goal that I think everybody should have. Another very good goal, I believe, and it's just my suggestions, I'm just making my suggestion, will be education. Especially education education in any area that you're, familiar with, or that that helps you to achieve your goals. But then, I think just general education, especially also in the area of technology, and how technology is going to shape things in the next 10 years, in this new decade. It will be helpful to get some education in that area. The third one that I'll be working on this year is, we are products of our environment, and a lot of us have been affected by environment in different ways. And some of us have been able, in my past videos, some of you must have heard me talk about things like addiction, help with addiction, things to do with mental illness. I've said some of these kind of things in my past videos, emotional healing and trying to get restoration, in those areas. And there are things we all still could work on and really do better at. Because a lot of the issues that many of us are still dealing with in our lives are things that stem from our childhood and from traumatic events in our past. And what I've realized is that your self-image never rises higher than your ability to have overcome things in your life. Many times we are limited, our goals are limited, and things we're trying to achieve, we get limited because of our self-image. And self-image gets better when we become more, when we believe more in ourselves. So overcoming traumatic events or learning to know yourself better, so that you know areas in which maybe trauma still plays a role in your life, will be very helpful as a goal to set for the year 2020. But I think really we should really set goals for the next decade, and really think that way, not just for the next year, but the next decade. All these changes going on around us, how are we going to shape our lives? How are we going to position ourselves? And my video is getting long, so I think I'm going to cut it there. And there's still so much to say, but I'm going to be using all my platforms, this year by the grace of God, and some things I'm about to come out. And again, I just wish you all a happy new year. It's your boy.